Hi guys, thanks for joining me. A quick review of Sunday's games where we saw Fulham take on Manchester United in the late game, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Everton and Brighton as well, before we have a look at Newcastle versus Liverpool on the Monday night fixture. Right. So Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, I didn't watch it. It was 1-1. I did see some interviews afterwards where they were talking to Nuno about the issues that are going on with the owners and the sporting director. He played them down, but you can tell there's something going on in the background. Hopefully they managed to resolve it. Nottingham Forest have done well over the last couple of years. The last thing they need is to take a step back by getting rid of, anything essential right now. Everton-Brighton was a great game. I watched this match and, Jack Grealish, I'm terrible at transfer news. I try to avoid transfer news as much as possible, which is probably not clever when you're trying to do like a sports show like I am doing. I might have to change my stance over the coming Christmas window. But Jack Grealish was amazing yesterday for Everton, made all the difference. He was on the board for assists anyway. He assisted the first goal in DIA and the second goal from Ghana. And yeah, it was one of those games where, you could see this is his level and he hasn't played much. He played a few games when he was at City, but I think the competition there was just too much. But yeah, I think he's found his level at Everton. He contributed. He worked very hard. And yeah, I can see him doing really well at Everton. Moises is there as well, who is, a British manager. He managed to rescue Everton last season when they looked like they were really going down, went in there, steadied the ship, and he seems to be making the right decisions. Now, Fulham versus Manchester United, it's one of those games I was expecting fireworks and expecting Manchester United to come out and, basically to show a new side of them. But yeah, the performance we saw last week against Arsenal was just another one. They woke up for that game. They wanted to beat Arsenal, but they've got bigger problems. They've got huge problems if they can go and do what they did yesterday at Fulham. I will not be putting them, they're definitely not looking like an improved side. Ruben Amorim, whatever changes he has made, he's, I think, making some errors. His decision making is really dodgy because how do you justify leaving your main striker Sesko on the bench? You play Mount, okay, sometimes it's what you see in training, but a lot of Manchester United supporters are complaining that he's playing, especially Fernandez, in the wrong position and things like that. So people are complaining that the best players are not playing in their right positions, and he really needs to look into it because a game against Fulham should be a game, even away from home, you should be taking 3 points out of. Maipe, who was on the show the other day, please go and find the video on my channel. She did say, Manchester United flattered to deceive. They literally are still very vulnerable. And she predicted it would be a draw only because of the history between Manchester United and Fulham. And she got it right. Basically, Manchester United drew the match, and they were in the second half. They didn't look dangerous. Mbeumo was making some great runs, but it just wasn't enough. They just can't convert the chances that they're getting. Cunha as well, saying he had some chances, was not getting the chance, was not completing the chances. Let me have a quick look at the lineup from yesterday from these guys. Casemiro seems to be starting and being taken out. Amad Diallo probably needs to move up further. To be honest, this 3-4-2-1 position or 3-4-3, it just doesn't seem to be working out very well for them. Instead of using Amad Diallo as somebody who's doing both their attacking play and probably supporting in defense, or are they using Casemiro for that? I think they are really missing an opportunity. They really need to look at getting a streamline, basically streamline the squad, the team, do start off at 4-4-2 and mess about with it there. Make sure you've got a decent back four so you're not conceding crazy goals. Make sure you've got your wingers, your right back and your left back who are actually doing that role instead of converting everybody else. Lenny Yoro scored from a corner. Their keeper, Bayinda, getting a lot of criticism. He didn't concede from a corner, of course, but the guy is still vulnerable. Now, unless Man U go out and buy a ready-made keeper, they're going to really struggle because keepers do take time to integrate into that team. Bayinda has got a lot of weaknesses, but I think if they stick with him, which they can't afford to do, he will learn. But if they buy a new keeper then why did they get this guy? You know what I mean? So there's a lot to do there. Delete, Casemiro, Dogu is consistent. Honestly, I can never, when I watch Dogu, I never see anything where I'm like, oh, this guy needs to go. Otherwise, Man U are going to suffer. I don't see that. In terms of Fulham, I'm trying to see Calvin Bassey, saw him, Tete. They really looked like a better side than Manchester United throughout. You know, they looked more cohesive. They looked more in control of their game. They're definitely a better managed side than Manchester United at the moment. And it showed. It really showed there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Emil Smith-Rowe, former Arsenal player, scored the goal. It was a beautiful goal, and it was something that made me smile anyway. You know, he's a former Arsenal boy doing okay for Fulham. Hopefully, he has a chance this season to because at Arsenal, I never really saw how special he was. I just never saw him as a player who was that special. You know, when you compare him to like Saka and stuff like that, where you can see that this guy is definitely, you know, should be playing for Arsenal. I never saw it with Emil Smith-Rowe. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to see it this season at Fulham, because last season I didn't see that either. He had a few good chances, a couple of goals, but nothing spectacular. Hopefully this is going to be a season we're going to see more of. So yeah, that was it. Yesterday's game, Fulham Manchester United. They let me down really, because I really bigged them up thinking after the Arsenal performance they were going to take it a notch further, but their supporters know their team a lot better than I do. So yeah, so that was yesterday's, that was the Sunday's fixtures that happened. Actually look out for my next video where I will be discussing Newcastle versus Liverpool, which has taken on a very interesting note, considering the issues that are happening with Isak as well, where Liverpool are trying to get him, but they don't want to pay £130 million. So yeah, I'll be doing a quick video, pre-match prediction for that. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.